There have been great scorers, there have been unstoppable scorers, and then there was Shaquille O'Neal. Every team knew exactly what was coming. Shaq would catch the ball in the paint, lower his shoulder, and 2 points were almost inevitable. The scary part? It wasn't a mystery. Defenders knew every move, the drop step, the jump hook, the baseline spin. Teams built entire game plans to stop him. It almost never worked. Guarding Prime Shaq wasn't just about defense. It was about surviving 4 quarters against the most physically dominant force the NBA had ever seen. Michael Jordan embarrassed defenders, Stephen Curry stretched them, LeBron James overwhelmed them, but Shaq made grown men question whether they even wanted the assignment. So what made Prime Shaquille O'Neal the one player nobody wanted to guard? The physical nightmare. Shaquille O'Neal stood listed at 7'1" and weighed somewhere between 315 and 325 pounds in his prime, though anyone who played against him swore he played heavier. What made him terrifying wasn't just the size. The NBA had tall players before him and would have tall players after him. What made Shaq different was that he combined that size with the speed and explosiveness of a much smaller man. He ran the floor like a wing player. He could get from baseline to baseline faster than centers 60 pounds lighter than him. His hands alone changed geometry. Shaq wore a size 22 shoe and had a wingspan that let him catch entry passes that would sail over the heads of ordinary centers. Once he caught the ball with position on the block, the math for a defender became almost hopeless. A standard double team relies on funneling a player into help defense. Shaq was too strong to be moved by one body and too coordinated to be rattled by 2. Defenders who tried to front him in the post got the ball thrown over them. Defenders who tried to play behind him got back down until the rim was in danger of coming off its hinges. There's a reason his dunks became legend, not for style, but for violence. He didn't just break backboards for show. He broke them because backboards were not built to withstand a man his size finishing at that speed. Opposing coaches had to game plan around a body type the sport had simply never produced in that combination before. The league had no answer. The tragedy, from an opponent's perspective, was that the era Shaq dominated actually had excellent centers. David Robinson was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year and an Olympic gold medalist, a legitimately elite 2-way big man. Patrick Ewing had spent over a decade as the defensive anchor of the New York Knicks. Alonzo Mourning was one of the most physically imposing shot blockers of his generation. Dikembe Mutombo built an entire career and a Hall of Fame case around rim protection. These were not soft matchups. These were some of the best defensive big men the league has ever produced. And it didn't matter. Shaq went through all of them. During the peak of the Lakers' three-peat from 2000 to 2002, he averaged well over 30 points a game in the postseason, and he did it against exactly the kind of size and physicality that was supposed to slow him down. Coaches tried single coverage, double coverage, even triangle and 2 variations. Nothing consistently worked, because the problem wasn't scheme. It was that no single human body, and often no combination of 2, could physically displace him from the spot on the floor he wanted. This desperation is actually why the NBA changed its rulebook. Before the 2001-2002 season, the league legalized zone defense for the first time in modern history, partly a response to the difficulty of guarding dominant post players like Shaq one-on-one. When a rule change at the league office is influenced by how impossible it is to guard you individually, that tells you everything about the scale of the problem defenses were facing. The fear. Talk to any center who played in that era, and a certain honesty starts to come out, the kind that only shows up years after the competitive fire has cooled. Players who built entire reputations on toughness admitted that facing Shaq changed how they approached a game. It wasn't the fear of losing. NBA players lose all the time and move on. It was something more physical and immediate. Guarding Shaq meant absorbing real force, possession after possession, for 48 minutes. Fouling him wasn't even a reliable escape valve the way it is against most great scorers, because Shaq's greatest weakness, his poor free throw shooting, gave opponents an incentive to foul him intentionally. The strategy became so widespread, it earned its own name in basketball vocabulary: Hack a Shaq. pioneered in earnest by coach Don Nelson. Teams would foul him away from the ball, sending him to the line where he shot under 60% for his career, hoping to turn his greatest gift, effortless interior scoring, into a stalemate at the free throw stripe. The teams were willing to intentionally stop the game and gamble on free throws rather than let him operate in the post, says everything about how few good options actually existed. Even blocking his shot came with risk. Defenders who left their feet to challenge him sometimes ended up undercutting a much heavier man mid-air, a genuinely dangerous collision. The safer, if less dignified choice for many bigs was simply to absorb the contact, take the foul, and hope the whistle came before real damage did. Why we'll never see another Shaq. Basketball has evolved dramatically since Shaq's prime, and that evolution is precisely why a player like him is unlikely to happen again. The modern NBA is built around spacing, three-point shooting, and switchable mobile defenders. Traditional back-to-the-basket centers have been phased out of most offensive systems in favor of stretch bigs who can shoot from range. The game simply doesn't feature the same volume of possessions run directly through a low-post giant anymore. There's also the rarity of the physical template itself. The NBA has had other seven-footers. It has had other enormously strong players. What it has almost never had is the specific combination Shaq brought: elite lateral quickness and vertical explosion inside a 325-pound frame, paired with genuinely soft touch around the rim and passing instincts that made double-teaming him a losing proposition. Even the handful of players since who have approached his physical scale have not matched his combination of agility and finesse. Add to that the modern emphasis on load management, spacing-based training, and a rule environment that no longer allows the physical hand-checking and post-play of the 1990s, and you get a league structurally unlikely to produce or even feature another Shaq. He wasn't just a great player. He was a product of a very specific basketball era colliding with a once-in-a-generation body. Legacy. By the time his prime years had passed, Shaquille O'Neal had won 4 NBA championships, 3 of them alongside Kobe Bryant during the Lakers' three-peat, and captured 3 straight Finals MVP awards from 2000 through 2002, along with a regular season MVP in 2000. He finished his career among the most efficient scorers the league has ever seen, and remains a fixture in conversations about the greatest center of all time, alongside names like Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But statistics only tell part of the story. Shaq's true legacy lives in the testimony of the men who had to guard him, Hall of Famers who will tell you, without hesitation, that nothing in their careers prepared them for what it felt like to stand across from him on a basketball court. He didn't just win games. He altered how opposing coaches built game plans and how the league itself wrote its rules. That combination of statistical dominance and psychological impact on an entire generation of elite competitors is what separates a great player from a genuine force of nature. Prime Shaq wasn't just hard to guard. He was, for nearly a decade, close to unguardable, and the players who lived through it have never pretended otherwise.